There actually exist people who are defending Creator Clash 3, and to no one's surprise, one of the biggest defenders is our favorite Hasan sweeper Ludwig. If you don't remember, he had to pull down a video because Hasan got hurt in the feelings because Ludwig in big quotations made fun of him for his "oh my god, creators have the hardest job" take.
You should call Hasan and apologize. Why is Hasan mad? What did I do? What did I do? Because I'm a mogul male? I feel like everything I said was fine. Am I crazy? Farmed for views? Oh, well, I mean, that's the deal. I'll just pull him out of the thumbnail, and then I feel like it doesn't really matter much, right? I can just pull him out. I feel like that's... Because I feel like outside the thumbnail, you can't really make that argument much. What's up? If you guys didn't know, that was a mogul mail that I uploaded yesterday. You might not have seen it, though, because I took the video down. The video was called "Do Streamers Have Hard Jobs?" And the reason I took it down is because we had a great sponsor on it. But the great sponsor wasn't getting great views.
Ludwig actually goes and says that he doesn't think Ian and Inisa scammed with Creator Clash 3 and calls that the worst fate interpretation.
So it was a scam? I feel like that has to be like the worst faith interpretation. I think if an event is successful and raises $1.3 million for charity on their first go around, their big plan isn't like, oh my God, and this next time we run it, we're going to make, you know, money for ourselves. Now that we've raised the $1.3 million for charity, now we get to make some money of our own. You would just take the $1.3 million on the first go around.
He says here that no one would not take the 1.3 million they got for charity and just run with it. But he doesn't take into account all the money they did actually take. Because if 1.3 million made it to charity, with all the percentages we know now, probably around 900,000 didn't go to charity, but was spread between Ian and Anissa and all the fighters. Here is a clip of a former Creator Clash commentator, Wade, who worked there for free, thinking it was a charity event and talking about how much money he thinks they actually made on the first event and how much went to the fighters and how much went actually to charity.
Hey, let's just say that 1.3 is what went to charity. Because it said it was raised for charity, right? If 1.3 million was raised for charity, if that's the number we're saying went to charity, and fighters got 20%, and then Ian and Anissa got 34%, that would mean that the 1.3 million is 46% of something. So almost half. Again, if I'm reading this right, because I think we all know now that all of the profits didn't go to charity because there's baked in percentages, right? Am I meant to believe that they actually made $2.8 million on the event? This is what they said went to charity. So this is after the cost of the venue and production and all that. So if it made 2.8 million, which again, I could be wrong about, but we're a little bit in gray area here. If it made 2.8 million, we do 2.8 mil times 20% for fighters. So fighters got to split between themselves, or in some way, I don't know if it was even, but to split 560,000, right? How many fighters were on the card? Do we have 10 fights? So that's 20 fighters? This could be complete Steiner math, I'm not gonna lie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights. So 18 fighters. So each fighter around $30,000. I don't know if that's to cover camps as well. Who knows? Then you have that 34%. I don't know that this is what actually happened, but if that's the case, that's the number it would work out to. 34% being the number that Ian and Anissa took of profits. That would give you still the 1.3 or around that to send to charity. But that would also mean they made $1 million on this event. That would be fucking crazy that you almost made as much as you gave to charity. Which, you know, if that's how you marketed it, that'd be fine. But that isn't how it was marketed. Now, again, let's say our math is wrong, and let's say the entire profit, and by the way, you would have spent more than you gave to charity in the long run anyway, because that plus the 560 for fighters is actually 1.5. So let's say they didn't make 2 mil on the event. They very well could have, but let's say they didn't. Let's say they made the 1.3 mil, and that's the entirety of profits. Same math, 260,000 divided by 18. Each fighter gets 15K. I don't know who, again, did Dr. Mike make more than others? Was this really, you know, how it was broken down? I'm not sure. But let's say that's what it was. Even then, we're assuming they're using the recently released profit split. That's what they said.
1.3 mil is a lot of money, bro. That's hella bread.
Here he says that 1.3 million is not a lot of money, but let's just think about it. There went God knows how many creators to the event, not as fighters, but to have fun with charity's money. that could have donated the money and made much more of an effect on those charities. But no, they only put forward the 1.3 million afterwards. Let's compare it to another charity event. For example, from Sea Dog VA, who raised 1 million 2 years in a row by just cycling across Japan with different people.
Conditions. Thank you for what you are doing. Best wishes.
Ludwig.
Lodge, you crazy bastard!
All right. With that.
And while you might say that it's different because one event has cost and the other one doesn't, it's not even true, because the event that has cost, Creator Clash 3, also has ticket sales, which should be able to cover all the expenses and probably like 2 times more money than they donated for the first time. And again, if you're making a charity event, you should think about how to get the most money to charity, not to pay for the biggest possible event.
Pay-per-view sales.
So I feel like you're just not, if you're looking at it in a vacuum, yeah, I think you could call that a scam. But you're ignoring the context of the first one that was hella successful.
You're ignoring the first one that was very successful. Just because one event was successful doesn't mean we can say the other one wasn't. The other 2 events are obviously not successful. That would be like, oh, this guy did one good deed. It doesn't matter all the crimes he did afterwards, because remember, this one good deed. That's an awfully stupid excuse.
Is money paid not towards charity until event costs are paid? Yeah, but presumably. Because where else is the money coming from? And I guess, do you guys consider that a scam? Because to me, that makes sense. That's how it should operate. Now, obviously, messaging matters. Like if you have tickets and you say all proceeds go to charity, and then it's actually like, well, they go to charity after costs. Like that has to be clear when you purchase.
Where else could the money be coming from? Well, Ludwig, that's on the events to figure out, and they shouldn't be taking away the money from charity. If you say you are giving all the money to charity, then you shouldn't be taking the event costs out of there. If you say, hey, we are gonna take event costs, it's fine. But they said, oh, it's all going to charity. So of course it's stupid. And other people did events that didn't cost the charity money because they would take sponsors or stuff like that would pay for the event instead of paying for sponsorships, and they would be able to give all the money they got to charity.
I feel like people get real bad faith or virtue signally when it comes to charity stuff. Yeah, maybe grandstandy. I don't know the exact word. But I feel like when the word charity is hit, people are like, heavens. And everyone acts like every act of charity needs to be some higher than thou act that is selfless. And maybe I'm cynical, but I think that's dumb. And I think charities also understand that that's dumb. And most incredibly successful charities understand that it's a business and things need to be able to operate not just one time, but consistently many times. And the only way to do that is if it doesn't burn a bunch of money along the way.
Of course, events shouldn't burn a bunch of money along the way, but then you should think about how to make an event that doesn't burn money. If the event burns money, then you shouldn't hold the event, obviously. And you shouldn't say it's a charity event and then burn all the charity's money.
So if you're doing an annual event, but you lose $100,000 doing it, even if you raise $50 million for charity, you can't do that forever because you're losing money. Money has to come from somewhere. And what people I don't think realize is sometimes that gets a little dirty. Like if you look, I've been offered from charities. They'll offer you like $20K. They'll pay you to run an event in exchange to raise money, hoping to hit an expectation of return. The return varies. But like, let's say charity wants to raise money. They give you $20K to raise them $40K. And so maybe you're thinking, well, that sucks because you're taking the money from the charity It's like the net benefit for the charity outweighs their initial costs.
This is such a stupid take coming from Ludwig, which is no surprise. But if a charity spent $100,000 and made 50 million, everyone would go and donate to there or just pay them the 100K. Because just imagine the return on the investment. What kind of stupid thing to say is that? If it made 50 million, you would never actually need to raise money for the charity ever again. And after all of these takes from Ludwig, I wonder, does he also take 34% profits from all the charities he does? Now, after all of this, I need a break to regain some brain cells. If you like the video, like it, and if you want to watch more drama, subscribe. See you next time. Bye!